Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take the top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets and break them down to bite-sized pieces. Today, we've only got two big stories. And the first one is that 3 reasons Cardano suddenly surged by 85% in 10 days. And why I'm here to tell you, this is only the beginning. Also, an early Bitcoin investor says what we've all been thinking, which is altcoins are going to massively outperform Bitcoin in the near to long-term future. So we'll get into all that, but first let's take a look at what's going on in the market. So Bitcoin 9,400, up 3% for the 7-day, which is nice. Ethereum's almost hitting that 250, so I'm pretty happy about that. Tether's Tether, XRP's XRP, but I will give it one caveat. XRP is up 15% quietly over the last 7 days, so that's pretty good. Bitcoin Cash is up 10% for some reason. Cardano up massively, 57%. Bitcoin SV, Crypto.com, Binance Coin, EOS. CHAINLINK making huge strides, 37%. Tezos, Stellar, OKB, and really that's about it. So I'm just kidding, actually. I did the same thing yesterday when we were talking about VECHAIN. And I had totally just glanced over it because I was trying to get to the articles and I just slipped my mind. But VECHAIN is on a massive run, 127% for the week. That is enormous. 24% for the day. So for all the people that have held on to VECHAIN, tip my hat. Congratulations to you. That's a good hold. I see great things for VECHAIN coming up, and hopefully it all works out. All right, let's jump into today's big stories. So first up, the 3 reasons why Cardano is surging. For those of you who have been around, you know that Cardano is one of my holds. So obviously I am biased when I'm talking about it. But yeah, I thought it would do pretty well, especially when the mainnet actually launched, which is what we are into right now. I was very critical of Charles Hoskinson because as a small business owner, I mean, my job is just to make things work, just to get things out there, throw things against the wall, see what sticks, and then just go that route. Now, Charles is a little bit different than me. He's got a much bigger business than I do. And his philosophy is, no, we're going to make things as perfect as possible and then move forward. And I got to tell you, there are some industries that should absolutely do this. I think the airline industry is one of them. I do not want to get up into the air and then have the captain come on and say, hey, you know what? We didn't have this right thing for the wing and we might crash. So that's not good. So I'm looking for certain industries such as the financial sector, such as aviation, such as rocket and space and all those things. Maybe they should do their due diligence and make things right the first time. So I, again, will tip my hat. Looks like it's going out pretty well. So let's get into the article. So price of Cardano increased from about 7 cents to 13 cents by more than 85% in less than 2 weeks. And I got to tell you, before you go on, I've been in this space since mid-2017, and I can tell you right now that FOMO is a real thing. I've been around for quite some time, and even me, since we've been sitting around, especially, I mean, a lot of us have been sitting around because of COVID-19. Nothing really to do. Nothing's really open. Nothing's really going on. And, of course, the cryptocurrency market's just moving sideways. And when something happens like this, we're like, whoa, this is amazing. We should really get on this. And FOMO starts to set in. Like even last night, I was thinking to myself, man, I should really, because I've been talking about it for, about a week or longer. I thought maybe I should increase my, really go in heavy into Cardano. But I remember these 2 rules. The first rule is don't FOMO. And the second rule is see rule number 1. And I got to tell you, my mistake that I made in 2017 was just to throw money at whatever I thought was going to go up because of emotions. And emotions are the killers of all investors. So you have to be more of like a stoic. Think Marcus Aurelius, when you just kind of sit back and just say, hey, I have a plan. I need to move forward. I'm going to follow this plan, and that's going to work out. So if you follow the plan, everything should do pretty well. Unfortunately, if you would listen to Mike Tyson, he said famously, hey, everybody's got a plan till they get hit in the face or till they get punched in the face. And it's the same thing with dollar cost averaging and investing in cryptocurrency. Everybody's got a plan until you see these massive increases. You see VECHAIN going 127%. You see CHAINLINK going 220%. You see Cardano, massively going up 100%. You're like, whoa, wait, maybe the strategy I had isn't that great. Maybe I should go all in. I'm here to tell you, you can learn from mistakes. They just don't have to be yours. So learn from my mistakes. Just have a plan in action, dollar cost average in, and you should be okay. Because what's going to happen? I mean, I believe that Cardano is going to go up massively. Do I think it's going to, dip from here to there? Yes, I do. Do I think there's opportunities? Yes, I do. So if we go all in today, maybe next week there's actually a little bit of a dip, and we could have gotten it for a cheaper price, or maybe it goes up all the way. Who knows? But I can just tell you this: the safer option, dollar cost average, and off you go. So there was a question yesterday, or 2 days ago, which was, where do you buy Cardano? Well, when I bought my Cardano, it was when Binance was open to all Americans. I have not sold any of my Cardano. So I was using Binance back then, and I just held everything. Then I transferred over to the Daedalus wallet, which is provided by the Cardano Foundation. And that's where I actually have my Cardano right now. But to pick up any kind of new Cardano, I've been using this new wallet called Voyager. And I've actually talked about this recently. If you go in the description of every one of my videos, it's going to say something about exchange and wallet fees and alternatives to Coinbase. It's going to look something like this. When you click on that, these are all the different exchanges I am using or have used and what my recommendations are and all the different fees and everything else you can take a look at. If you want to sign up, these are all, well, most of them are affiliate links, not all of them, but you don't have to use them. But if you do use them, like for Gemini Pro or Gemini, you get like $10 Bitcoin for you. For Celsius, you get $25 for you and me. Voyager, same thing. So again, you don't have to use it, but it might actually behoove you to use that link. But I'm evaluating Voyager, and even last night I was kind of blown away with how easy it was, and it's actually commission-free trading. So I mean, I like that. Do your research on this one. It's available for iOS and Android. The CEO of Voyager was the CEO of E-Trade. That's why they know all the ins and outs about commission-free and all that stuff. And it works out pretty smoothly. And even me, who lives in Texas, in America, I'm able to use this, and they have a plethora of different cryptocurrency digital assets, and Cardano and VECHAIN is one of those. So if you would check it out, go right ahead and then tell me what you think. And I'll either recommend or not recommend, but right now it's looking pretty good. So anyhow, moving on to the article. It states 3 factors likely caused the intense rally of Cardano in recent weeks. The new Shelley upgrade, makes sense. Favorable market structure, sure. And rapid growth of the DeFi market. When I read that, I'm like, huh? All right, well, I'll bite. Let's take a look. So it states here on July 1st, a node equipped with Shelley upgrade components was deployed onto the mainnet. By the month's end, on July 29th, the changes will be implemented on Cardano's network through a hard fork. And think of hard forks. Every time I hear a fork, I think of Bitcoin, then Bitcoin Cash, then Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin SV. But hard forks are just upgrades, essentially what it is. So there's not going to be a new coin or anything like that. It's just an upgrade to the whole system. So moving on, it states Cardano is a proof of stake network, which means there are no miners. Users who run nodes, which I will probably be doing, maintain the network by staking Cardano. In return, users benefit from the reward system of Cardano. Here's what the roadmap states. Shelley, or the mainnet, will also see the introduction of a delegation and incentive scheme, a reward system to drive stake pools and community adoption as a proof of stake network. Users stake their Cardano to participate in the network. And I just want to just bring it back for a second. I don't know if you realize how early you are. In all of this. I mean, you are super early. Some people will argue and say, no, you're not early. This is like late game. Like, what are you talking about? Have you ever gone out into like the streets and just say, hey, you know about Cardano? Hey, you know about Ethereum? Hey, you know about Chainlink? No one knows what that is. You're speaking Greek to them. If you say Bitcoin, people will probably say, oh yeah, I heard about that. That's that crazy stuff that's used for terrorism or whatever they say. But, when you start to talk about cryptocurrencies, we are so early in this game. This is the early days of the internet. So imagine the prices right now and what's actually going on. We're like on the cusp of this just going live, So, I mean, think about 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. Imagine where you're going to be if you have invested into any of these projects and they actually, do make it. And I think a lot of projects have a big opportunity to make it. And at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about, which ones I actually invested into and why I invested into and what I would do if I had to do it right from today. But just think about that for a second, just how early you are and what's going to happen in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and where you could potentially be. I can only see good things. Anyhow, this roadmap states that by the end of the Shelley upgrade, Cardano is expected to become more decentralized with upwards of 1,000 stake pools. It adds, come the end of the Shelley era, we expect Cardano to be 50 to 100 times more decentralized than other large blockchain networks, with the incentive scheme designed to reach equilibrium around 1,000 stake pools. So let me just clarify, I think what they're saying. They're not, because when I hear about it's more decentralized than, I'm always thinking it's more decentralized than Bitcoin, or it's more decentralized than Ethereum, or whatever. So if you're going to think about that, there are over 10,000 nodes, full nodes, throughout the globe for Bitcoin. So when it talks about that, no, probably not. But if it's talking about, like, let's say EOS, because EOS has what's called these blockchain producers. There's like 23 of those, and that's it. So it's a little bit more technical than that, I suppose. But if you're talking about 1,000 stake pools, sure, that seems fairly decentralized to me. I can agree with that. Let's just move on. Anyhow, going into this article, the last part it states about why this whole area blew up as far as Cardano was that the DeFi market on Ethereum is exploding, surpassing $2 billion in total value locked across all DeFi protocols. In a recent tweet, Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson hinted that Cardano could soon become a key player in the DeFi space. As a proof-of-stake blockchain network, the Cardano blockchain network is structurally efficient enough to handle large-scale DeFi applications. And if you follow the channel, I've talked about DeFi, which I think is like the ace in the hole for Ethereum. And if Cardano gets on top of that, especially with what's going on with their staking network and their pools and whatnot, I mean, they can have a huge dent. I think Ethereum is a $10,000 coin. Cardano easily could be a $20 coin. I mean, it just could, especially with decentralized finance. And I don't see decentralized finance is good for just the retail person, but DeFi for small businesses, once they figure out that they don't have to jump through all these loopholes and problems that are plagued with the bank, believe me, I know. I've had to deal with them for decades. I will just tell you this. Once the small business figures out that DeFi is actually an option, it's going to be game over, because all the small businesses like me are going to go on that route, because they're like, what, you're telling me I don't have to fill all this stuff out, and the rates are better and everything else is smoother, and why would I go to this bank? Are you kidding me? DeFi is going to be a big thing for small businesses. All right, enough of that. Let's move on. Next up, Crypto OG thinks altcoins will outperform Bitcoin in the near future, and I couldn't agree more. So Dan Moorhead, the founder of the first crypto venture capital firm, Pantera Capital, believes that altcoins will outperform Bitcoin over the next couple of years. He states, it's our opinion, and he's talking about Pantera Capital, that these altcoins, and particularly smaller cap smart contract tokens, are going to outperform Bitcoin over the next couple of years. So smart contract tokens, smart contract projects, we see that in Ethereum. We see that in Cardano. We see that in Tezos. We see that in EOS. We see that in different types of projects that have to deal with smart contracts. So when he's talking about it, he knows the writing's on the wall. He knows that smart contracts are going to be fantastic for DeFi. They're going to be fantastic for other aspects such as, I don't know, healthcare, voting, recording different transactions as far as like mortgages, deeds, different wills of trust. I think that smart contracts are, I mean, we're on the tip of the iceberg for different things. Again, I truly believe we are just like how we were when the internet first started. And what I'm talking about, take a look at this video.
And then the ring around it? See, that's what I said. Mm-hmm. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it. I'd never heard it said. I'd only seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
I heard you around or about in the lunchroom the other week.
There it is. Violence at NBC. GE.com. I mean.
Well, Allison should know.
What is internet anyway?
Internet is that massive computer network, the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
No, she can't say anything in 10 seconds or less.
Allison will be in the studio shortly. What does it mean?
It's a giant computer network made up of started from
Oh, I thought you were going to tell us what this was.
It's like a computer billboard.
It's not an. It's a computer billboard, but it's nationwide. Right. It's several universities and everything all joined together. See right there, that person behind the camera, that's you. That's you explaining to all your friends what exactly cryptocurrency digital assets are. And all your friends and your family are looking at you like, what is this person, this madman talking about? That is exactly where we are. That's how I see it. Dan Moorhead emphasized that it would be incorrect to suggest that Pantera does not believe in Bitcoin. Rather, they are of the opinion that smaller coins will go up in value more. He states, we think Bitcoin is go up a ton, but altcoins will go up even more. An example is Bitcoin is up about 30% year to date, which is amazing, given that equities are down and real estate's down, and almost all assets are down in price. But other things in the cryptocurrency space are up much more. Ethereum is up 80%, and other smaller projects like Augur and 0x are up 100%, which I'm like, why is they talking about Augur and 0x when you could talk about CHAINLINK or VECHAIN or CARDANO? And it's because Pantera is an investor in Augur and 0x. However, missed out on the Ethereum initial coin offering back in 2015. So when they're talking about these things and all these different investment groups, they're saying, hey, this is going to go up and this is going to go up fantastically and this is going to happen. You always have to wonder what the motive is behind people pushing this project. A prime example would be, to me, is like Max Kaiser. He is always talking about how great Bitcoin is and there's nothing else and everything else is just trash and da-da-da-da. Sure, great. And then Peter Schiff, again, with gold. I mean, we know about that. That makes total sense. So when you take a look at this, you got to think to yourself, well, why are they talking so much about Augur and 0x? Well, it's because they invested heavily into it, right? And then you've also got to look at, well, why is Coinbase listing these particular projects? Like, I don't know, Orchid or Compound or that Bitcoin Cash debacle when they have all these issues. It's because they invested in Orchid. They invested in Compound. Bitcoin Cash, they did it, and I believe that they leaked it to somebody because all of a sudden it went up tremendously right before it actually got listed. So there's a problem with that. And so just so you know, I mean, for me, I've invested in certain projects and I talk about them a lot on this channel, and that means that I am biased. If you have to really look at it, it's the truth. I try not to be, but it's pretty tough when you are invested into those. So I will just say like this. There was a question that came from a subscriber, Mr. Quinones, and he asked me, he's like, I'm just new to cryptocurrency digital assets, and things just don't make sense. What should I invest in? Well, I cannot tell you what to invest in because I'm not a financial planner or an advisor or anything like that. But I can tell you this. I can tell you why I invested into certain projects and what I would do, like if I had to start from ground zero today, right now. So I will just say this. Bitcoin, well, let me back up. Only invest what you really feel comfortable with and you agree with the actual project. I remember years and years ago when I just got out of the Army, I was a medic and I was working at a hospital, and a friend of mine, Steven, I met him at the hospital, and he said, I remember this is like 2003? Yeah, 2003. And he was big into the stock market, and he said, I only invest in things that I actually use. So I'm only invested in and one of the things was Google. And I was like, why would you invest in Google? It doesn't make sense. He goes, well, I use it all the time and everybody uses it, so I'm just going to invest in that. I'm pretty sure that guy's doing pretty well. And I think the same thing holds true here. So when you see these different projects, just invest in what you think you would use or has a good team or is actually something that you can see moving on in the future, right? So for me, I've invested in Bitcoin because I always see these types of investments as like firecrackers, and firecrackers that are on like a chain of different wicks. So Bitcoin will be the first to really pop off because everybody knows about it, everybody hears about it. It's on the tips and the minds of everybody, especially like these financial planners, retail investors, and so on and so forth. So when the next bull run hits, I mean, it's going to go up. It's one of the safest bets that I think I can have. Now, of course, we see VeChain and Cardano and everything else going up massively. But when the next parabolic bull run, it's going to be Bitcoin. And then the other ones will, they could probably beat it. But I just feel that is the safest. So that's why I invested into Bitcoin. Ethereum, I would dump way more money into Ethereum if I had to start today. because I think that it is a $10,000 coin, and right now it is 246. So Bitcoin to me, it's maybe 100K, maybe 150K, which is 10 to 15x, right? But we're looking at Ethereum, you go from 246 to 10K. I mean, it would only make sense to put a lot more money into that. That's what I would do. And I always see Ethereum as like, the smart contract, the DeFi, ipso facto, the one that you want to get into because it is the one that's been around for maybe not the longest or potentially the longest, but it's been battle tested, and it's it's the one that people are most associated with, and a lot of things going on with it. So that's why I invested in Ethereum. Tether's Tether. I'll just skip that. XRP. People ask me, they say, why do you still have XRP? It doesn't do anything. Why didn't you just get rid of it and put it into tomato coin or whatever else? And I tell them like this: I'm stubborn, and I always saw XRP as a cross-border payment system. And I always felt like that the banks weren't really going to go away totally. So they would need something better than that awful program they have called Swift, because I use banks and I have to pay different partners. When I was had to pay for my manufacturers in China, it was a nightmare. Or in India, nightmare. And even here in the United States, it's like I told you before, it takes like 4 days sometimes to transfer funds over if you're going to do things over the weekend or if you hit the cutoff date for a wire transfer. So I always thought like XRP could help speed that up, and it was like a stepping stone. It would really help out. So if I had to do it again, I would probably still buy XRP because it's so low. It's at 20 cents, and its all-time high was $3. Even if it doesn't hit that, let's say it gets half there to $1.50, and that's still pretty good. Bitcoin Cash, I just didn't invest into. I just didn't feel like, I think it's a good hedge, if you say, well, if Bitcoin doesn't make it, then Bitcoin Cash, but I really just didn't see it, and maybe it's just my own ignorance, but I don't see it. Cardano, I always felt like was right on the heels of Ethereum. And of course, Charles Hoskinson, he was part of the Ethereum team before, and he was the co-founder. So if you're going to look at what's going on, and then of course there's always somebody that says that, no, Charles Hoskinson is a fraud and blah, blah, blah. Look, drop it. You can say he's a fraud and everything else, but he's doing good things. He's building a billion-dollar company, and he's doing things right, and he's taking it slow. So look, if you look at Steve Jobs, I mean, people who knew Steve Jobs said he was an a-hole, and he was a jerk, and he was hard to work with because he pushed people to the brink. But guess what? He gave us Apple. He gave us iPhones. He gave us a lot of great things. And I think Charles Hoskinson, for the negative things that people say, go ahead and say them. But he's given us a project that may be something huge, and that's just what I'm going to tell you. Bitcoin SV, I'm just going to skip. Litecoin, I just don't get it. I know Charlie Lee's like, well, Litecoin's the silver to Bitcoin. Sure, I guess. I'm just going to skip that one. Crypto.com, I don't understand it. I just don't, because I know that it's great to have their MCO or their different coins for their pre-funded debit card, but in all honesty, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to pre-fund my card and spend any cryptocurrency any place because I don't see the point. I know it's good for adoption, things like that, but right now we're in the growth phase. I'm just not going to use it. Binance Coin, if I had to do it again, I'd probably invest in a Binance Coin because I think that Binance is going to take over a lot of different areas. I mean, it has like the lowest fees. The customer service I hear is good, and they have the most amount of coins that you can get, and they seem to make the right move. So if I had to do it again, I'd probably get Binance Coin. EOS, I wouldn't have invested in EOS, but I do, and I'm too stubborn to let it go. So that's just me. Chainlink, I would put more money into Chainlink right now because if you look at all the different smart contracts, all the different platforms, if you got Ethereum, you got Cardano, you've got Tezos somewhere, Tezos down here, you got EOS, all the different Tron smart contracts. Guess what they all got to use? Chainlink. They all got to use that Oracle to pull in data from the outside because blockchain is just in their own little world. They need to get different outside data. They need to get financial prices. They need to get temperatures. They need to get whatever they have to get as far as like an API external data. Well, Chainlink does that, and that's why they have so many massive amount of partnerships. And I think Chainlink is a $200 to $500 coin. So I would probably dump a lot of money into that. Tezos is kind of like my hedge. I think, well, as far as smart contracts go, it's got a pretty good team, husband and wife, and a lot of the good things going on there, but who knows? Stellar is kind of like my hedge for XRP because they're the same type of thing. Although I know people are going to eat me up in the comment section, but I kind of see them as the same thing. It's just Stellar is more of like banking the unbanked, and I see good things over there. Jeb McCaleb, the co-founder of XRP, I mean, he just took off, and it could be a very big thing. And they got a lot of great partnerships. So I don't know. OKB, I have no idea. VeChain. As people have been talking to me more about it, I can see how massive it could potentially be. And I didn't really know if it was going to take off, but here we are. And then the massive amount of partnerships. And again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I think that they are starting to build those inroads to be almost unstoppable. So if I had to do it again, I'd probably invest in the VeChain. And then Leo, Tron, Monero, people ask me about this. Like, why don't you invest in Monero because of privacy coins? I don't use privacy coins. That's the only reason. So I don't need it. I don't see, I mean, I see the reason why people would do it because they're like, oh, well, I have to have privacy and I have to, buy this and whatever else. If you want to, that's fine. I just don't see it. And that's it for that, really. I mean, the rest of them, I could go through the whole thing, but I don't get it. Dogecoin, I actually have some Dogecoin somewhere, and I just never got rid of it. That's it. So that's it for today's video. I want to just kind of go through all that. And the big thing I would say is, to Mr. Quinones or anybody who is new, just get into a project that you think, has real world value, solves a problem, and has a great team around it. And because the team really is what makes everything up. I mean, again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you have a great team around you, you can move mountains. So do that. I always like to say dollar cost average. Don't go all in like I did in 2017 because, you could go, like I could go all in into Cardano because I really believe it's gonna go up crazy, right? But guess what? What if it happens? It goes from 12 cents or 13 cents down to 9 cents. Well, I just lost, 30%. And in let's say I went in heavy. Let's say I went in like $20,000. Would that be a smart move? Well, it would be a great move if it go up to 25 cents, but who knows? So just dollar cost average every week. Just put in, whatever you can afford, $25, $100. I mean, that's what I would do. And or 1,000 or 10,000. Well, I don't know what you have. And then just go from there. And then over time, it's just a safer bet. That's all it is. So that's it for today's video. I know it was a bit longer, but I felt it was one of those things I needed to kind of explain about why I do the things I do and, where I'm coming from. And that's it. So thanks a lot. I will say this. Thanks to all my supporters. Level 1, thanks for supporting everybody. I appreciate it. Level 2, and I'm just going to tell you this. At the end of this month, actually from today, from 30 days, there will be no more shout outs for level 2. And I appreciate everything that everybody's done. However, we have to do some other things. We have to get on, start talking more about these exchanges and which ones are good and bad. We got to start talking about more of the scams that are out there. And I think that every minute counts. So when I give the shout outs, I mean, people like the shout outs, but I just see the statistics of my videos. And once I get here, everybody drops off. So it's not really serving a purpose. So, but I will say thank you so much for everybody who has done it. So myself, who else? Dave Plummer, Grant Sharman, Bruce Wood, Making Benjamins, Noel Flippin Vegas, Martin Lewin, Michael Ralph, William Howell, Crazy Crypto Canuck, Tessie Ryosaki Positive, Troc LLC, JC Durex, Matt Slack, John Miller, The Office, El Murg, Michael Jeffrey, The Kel Show, Andrew Herrera, Terry Prosperi, EOS UK, Whatever, AE, and Hero Soap Company. They do soap. And the scam of the day is watch out for Dan Digital Asset New without the S at Gmail. They are scammers and they want you to do some kind of stupid trading platform, which I don't even do. So if you get that, just put it in the junk. My email is dandigitalassetnews@gmail.com. All right, that's it. Thanks a lot. See you in the next one.